All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule on teach well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect, the Akim and Aquaf scattered around the four corners of the planet Earth that have returned to the obedience of the Holy Scriptures. All right, which when you get into the scriptures really point you to Yahweh Shai, all right, who is, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, all right, and, our Savior, all right, and it really all starts with Him, okay, but this lesson we're going to go into trust, all right, and I'll entitle the lesson, Trust in the Lord and Watch What Happens, all right, trust in the Lord and watch what happens. All right, so I want to go into trust a little bit, what it really means, all right, and how it is to be applied, in this truth, all right. So, without further ado, if brothers didn't have any opening precepts, we start with Proverbs 3 and 5, and I'm gonna dig into this word trust a little bit, on that verse.
Okay. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding."
Right, and that's a banger. Okay, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. Okay, and that starts really first and foremost with understanding the power in which we serve. Okay, real. Can we get where is it, Isaiah 46, where it talks about how the Lord declares the end from the beginning? It's either Isaiah 46 or Isaiah 48.
Yeah, okay.
Right, because the power that we serve, all right, is the creators of the heavens and earth, for one, all right, but also, He spoke everything into existence and He declared everything from the beginning. Okay, which is what we go into when we talk about prophecy. We're basically going into the things that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has determined, all right, going all the way back to the foundations of the earth. All right, so that's what we're trusting in. We're not trusting in man. We're not trusting in ourselves. Okay, we're not trusting in any device or any carnal means of getting out of this situation. We're trusting in the divinity and the omnipotency of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, all right, and His ability to literally do anything. Okay, do things that you can comprehend with your mind, and even things that you can't comprehend with your mind. That's why the Scripture says, "With all thine heart, trust in the Lord with all thine heart." Okay, so can we get that, brother? Find that.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
This is Isaiah 47. It says, or I'm sorry, 46. It says, I'm gonna start at verse 8. It says, "Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else.
Mm-hmm.
For I am..."
Right, the Lord's track record. Okay, the former things of old. When you read the scriptures and you read about the creation, when you read about the flood, when you read about our deliverance out of Egypt, all right, these are historical examples, but this is the Lord's track record. Psalms 9 and 16, right, says what the Lord is known by the judgment in which He executed. Roughly paraphrasing. All right. So if we going by resumes, right, Jake like to throw that word out there, right? Like in the world of boxing or the world of sports or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, look what's his resume? He got a good resume.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look at Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's resume, man.
Right.
You got a point?
Look at his pedigree.
Right.
So yeah, the pedigree is like the stock that he came from.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and it Basically, you get that Sirach chapter 2. You know, a lot of it. You know, because it goes into the trust of Yahweh Shai.
Mhm.
Right. But
We can hold that on deck.
Yeah.
If I can say too, because like you said on that, like his pedigree was, that's why he always mentioned the first Exodus. You know, he always mentioned that, and like his track record, he had to remind Israel of what he did with them. But so soon they forgot, you know, and that's why he requires us to constantly keep these things, his praise in our mouth, you know, because the mind will have you forget, you know. We got to actually lean on these things to make it, you know, second nature, if you will.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it can stick.
Right.
You know, because you know even Jacob today, man, they can't remember they own phone them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they will never remember what Yahweh Shai has done for them to get them to this point.
Yeah.
You know, except for man of the Lord, who has made Yahweh Shai his right arm. You know.
Yeah.
To be protected.
And that was a fault that was actually shown. I know you're probably gonna get into it. A fault, or not even a fault, but I'll say like a something that Yahweh Shai pointed out to you know, Peter. You know, like when he was walking on water, and he made him trust in him. You know, and we know who Peter is, which, you know, that's David in the reincarnation.
Yeah.
You know, but that was a prophecy with the, you know, or I'll say not a prophecy, but a foreshadowing, if you will, with the house of David, man. You know, like we would have to remember Yahweh Shai and ultimately trust in him, so we don't get, you know, taken away with this flood that's about to come upon us. You know, that trust is going to be necessary to our relationship.
Yep. Because when you look at Jacob's trouble, when you look at the scenario that we're in here in America, all right, Esau, the fact that he's been given, you know, the level of power and control over the earth that he's been given, the technology, right? This is the equivalent of what, like, us making it through this situation is the equivalent carnally of walking on water.
Yeah,
it's going to be a miraculous deliverance. Okay, that's why the scriptures say the righteous are going to be scarcely saved. Okay, and the only reason we even going to be scarcely saved is because the Lord is going to have to intervene.
Yeah.
Okay, the Lord is going to have to dispatch angels and do particular things, give brothers spiritual power to endure until the end. You know, you got something?
You got it.
Coming.
You want me to finish this up?
Yeah, we'll finish that up.
This is Isaiah chapter 46, verse 9. It says, "Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure."
Yep. The Lord's counsel is going to stand. All right. And that's where our trust lies. Our trust lies in the Lord's counsel. All right. And the things that the Lord has, the decisions that he has made in regards to our lives. All right. And then in regards to his plan, you know, for, you know, the heavens and the earth. Okay. What we're doing now is we're buying in to that plan. All right. We're investing into that plan. All right. In the form of, you know, this sacrifice, you know. But on the flip hand side of that, really, Yahweh Shai is investing in us. That's another heavy part about it too. Okay, the Lord's sacrifice, Yahweh Shai doing what he did. All right, that's a part of that down payment, man. That's a part of that, you know, price that was paid so that we could get to the point that we at now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about an investment. The investment is meant so that it can eventually pay you back. You know, you put money in so that it comes back to you. You know what I'm saying? And it ends up, you know, giving. You know, you guys
in the long term,
right?
All right, because this is a long-term investment. Okay, and we're not going to receive the full reward, you know, on this side. We're going to receive it in the kingdom to come.
Yep.
You know, so, but we did get a, you know, little ski taste, you know, a little choice piece here through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shai, through wisdom, you know, through the things that the Most High has put forth to show us, like those nuggets.
Yeah.
You know, so we have gotten, you know, pieces, you know, but the full reward or the big chunk is going to be in the kingdom.
I got something for you.
Sure.
Let's get it. This is Isaiah 26, and y'all stop me whenever I read to verse 3. Isaiah 26:1.
Yeah.
It says, "In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will Yahweh appoint for walls and bulwarks."
Yep. And real quick, let me look up this word bulwarks.
Mhm.
All right. It's a defensive wall,
Mhm.
okay, or an extension of a ship's sides above the level of the deck.
Yeah.
All right. So kind of, you know, it's a defense.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps you stable, keeps the ship stable.
Yeah.
You know, like we just brought up that example of Peter walking on water. What was Peter's defense, his bulwark in that situation? It was his trust in Yahushua. You know, you got a point out?
You got it.
You sure?
Yeah.
You got it, bro.
It says verse 2 says, "Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee."
Boom. That's it. Could you read that last part again?
God, and it's one more verse 2 as well.
Okay.
But you can speak on this, please. It says Isaiah 26:3. It says, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee."
And that's a key point right there, because this is a mental game. This is a mental battle. And as we progress, okay, in the timeline, so to speak, a prophecy, all right, and we see how the Lord is getting ready to escalate things here in the States, especially. It's going to be extremely important for you to remain trusting in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? The scriptures say what? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
In strength of salvation.
And strength of thy salvation. So like the lesson, like the title of the lesson, trust in the Lord and watch what happens, man. The trust and faith that we've been accumulating, that we've been getting during this grace period, is what we're going to have to tap into in order to get through these times. Okay? And don't underestimate what the Lord gave you either. You know? Because it's easy in the flesh to, you know, because faith is not something that you can actually see. You can't go in your closet and, you know, count how much faith you got, right? Or whip out a storage chest, all right, or a bug out bag. Oh, I got this much faith. No, it's something that it's all spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, you got a point?
No, I was just thinking about having that sound mind, you know, because the Most High didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of a sound.
That's it.
Sound mind. All right, and in this kingdom, they want you to have fear, but we have a sound mind to trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in all of his ways and everything that he does. So really, you know, that's how we're going to stand boldly in how our foreheads are going to be hard against their foreheads. I know I took a lot of precepts to put it together, but you know, that's what's going to make you be that brazen wall to the world.
That's right.
Yeah, but you got it.
No, that's right. That's right. One more verse on this. You speak on it, bro. It says, Isaiah 26:4, "Trust ye in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua forever, for in the Lord Yahushua is," or I'm sorry, it says, "For the Lord Yahweh is everlasting strength."
So the trust leads to strength, man.
Yeah.
Trust leads to peace. All right. And this word trust that we're using a lot is synonymous with faith at the end of the day. Right. And do you mind reading that, those last two verses in the NLT, if possible? As a matter of fact, if you don't have it, I can read it right here.
I get it real quick.
Okay, come on.
Hold on. Just give me a
and then I'm gonna pull Colossians 2:7. All right, because as things get crazy here, right? As the world becomes more unstable, okay, the stability, the peace, the trust that Yahweh Shem Yahushua has given us is going to be on display. You know, the stability that the Lord is going to give his men we're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah. People are going to be freaking out at the gas station. They're going to be freaking out, right? Scrambling, right? People are already crazy. People are already road raging for no reason.
Yeah. Going 100 miles an hour and just slowly, inches from hitting you, just getting in front of you.
Trip. Yeah.
Trying to provoke you.
Yeah.
Right? Waiting on you to react. All right. So when we come into these times and people see, oh shit, why is he not reacting? Why is he not shaking? That's when our light is really gonna shine, man.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why the Lord said he's gonna keep us in perfect peace. You know, a lot of people have a certain level of peace, you know, whether it may be, you know, certain things that they have, you know, or even the what the President Trump's saying right now, you know, when they say peace and safety, you know, they're finding peace in that, you know, but perfection of peace is, you know, that's what the Lord has given us, you know, that actual true peace, that true rest, you know, which is resting in these scriptures, resting that those that stand stiffly, those that endure, those that listen to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know, they're going to be preserved. You know, and that's the strength of any woman, you know, especially the wife of the Lord, right? Because, you know, a woman's strength is her man, you know, keeping her from doing things irrationally, you know, doing things, you know, provoked in a you know, because you can easily tell when, you know, your woman's in a rushed, you know, not making sense spirit. You know, you can see it, you can see the things, but that's only from a perspective of, you know, of the husband, man, you know, from somebody that's considering long term. But you want me to get them verses in the NLT?
Oh, sure.
Isaiah 26:3, it says, "You will keep perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you."
Yeah.
Trust in the Lord always.
And if I may, that's what the scriptures mean when they say keep thine eyes single. That's a precept you can link up with that, right? Having your thoughts fixed on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's what keeping your eye single is, man.
Yeah.
You know, because the second you start, Peter, the example that you gave of Peter walking on water is a perfect example. The second you start focusing on the external, on the bullshit, that's when you lose. You know, but you got it.
Note that word fixed too, like, you know, he's repaired us. You know, that broken wall, you know, those chinks in our armor, you know, keeping our mind fixed is a repair system, you know. But I'll read it again. It's Isaiah 26:3. It says, you will keep in perfect peace all those who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you.
Yeah. I'll get shot. You mind pulling that? Is it 2 Ezra 7? The fire on the right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, can you pull that real quick? And I know I keep stopping here.
No, you good. Hey, you cooking, bro. You cooking.
Because what's coming to my mind is the tightrope.
Yep.
Right? Because even in the flesh, like you got niggas that will go out and tightrope across a goddamn canyon opening. Tweaking. That's, you know, trying the Lord. But what that shows is that there's a component, there's something in our brains, right? That if you really tap in and you lock in on something, on a particular line, a particular thing, that your body, your brain, your flesh has the ability to tap into that. But what we're talking about is tapping into the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. How much more so that,
right,
than the actual carnal example of tightroping, you know, or even hitting a baseball. Some of these sport examples in sports, like how hard it is to hit a baseball or how hard it is to do this, do that. If regular niggas can do all this shit that is statistically damn near impossible, then the men of the Lord are going to be able to completely lock in when it's time to lock in. And really that starts now.
Yeah. Because what it is you know, is the visualization. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you got to see it before it happens, right? And that's the theme of a prophet. You know, that's the whole
Seer.
that's the whole identity. They can see it before it happens, right? That's why the scriptures say we walk by faith and not by sight, because we've already visualized these things. The Lord has said that it would happen. So do you believe? Or that's what it comes down to. If you believe or if you don't, you know. So actually having the visualization of us winning the battle, you finishing the course, you finishing the race, the Lord standing up for you in the time of trouble, the Lord being in the Lord's kingdom, being on the chariot, being in the victorious state. Well, it's going to lead you to ultimately have trust and to live it out. You gotta prophesy these things. Not only we say it physically, but it starts mentally.
Yep.
You got it.
Or was there more on that? Did we finish
Yeah,
that?
this is the last verse.
Okay, we'll finish the last verse and then Papa shut.
Isaiah 26:4 in the NLT says, "Trust in the Lord always, for the Lord Yahweh is the eternal rock."
Woo! Is the eternal rock. All right, and rocks represent,
30 strong.
right,
Yeah.
stability.
History too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you'd have castles, kings, right? In our case, the temple that are built on rocks, built on mountains.
Yeah.
Hey, that rock also was carved out to be the chief cornerstone.
Yep.
All right, and that's who our faith is leaned upon, because that chief cornerstone was Yahweh Shai.
Right.
Okay.
The water. Yep.
But
So
you got it.
I was gonna say that's why a lot of times after a miracle happened, in the ancient world, our ancestors would set up rocks, as a monument.
Yep.
The Lord will he would be like, make a monument here for the things that I've done in this place. He would set up a rock just as his, like you said, that track record.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in a rock? That's why that nigga Dwayne Johnson gonna die, man. He took that fucking, he took the name, the nigga go by the rock. It's obviously,
More.
a shot at the disbelief, and the putting on of to be a Messiah, but that makes sense, that whole the rock, like it's the idea of looking toward it, man, is important.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want me to start at 6 or 7?
Whatever you think is good.
Second Ezra chapter 7 verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "There is also another thing: a city is built and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things."
Right, and that city is the kingdom. But as I always say, or not always me. The scriptures say the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, we're chasing the kingdom, but really, Yahweh Shai is trying to get us to get to a place in the mind, in the spirit. Okay, and then we're going to be transformed. Then we're going to be changed. Then we're going to get the immortality and actually be taken to the kingdom. What you got, Doc?
Yeah, and going in on your point, we're going to have to be transformed in the renewing of the mind, but also in this flesh to actually be in the kingdom to see how Bashim Shai as he is. Okay?
Yeah.
Not deviate. Verse 7, it says, "The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place, to fall, like as if there were fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water."
Yep. So it's dangerous.
You
It's difficult to access.
Yeah.
Okay. I forget what that one scripture is in the New Testament. Broad is the way that leads to destruction.
But narrow is the way to lead to salvation. And Sirach chapter 4 verse 17 goes into that. Bible should I pull that?
Yeah, I got
Because that's Sirach 7 and 14, or
you said 4 and 17.
4 and 17 goes into wisdom, and how it's going to be able to guide you through those perilous times, as fire on one side, water on the next.
Yep.
About Shai.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, pull it.
And that shows you too, Yahweh Shai. That shows you too that Yahushua had access to the Apocrypha. He read the Apocrypha, right? Second Ezra. That example that Ezra gives in Second Ezra 7. It's the Lord is basically rephrasing it when you read that the scripture that we quoted.
Matthew 7.
Matthew 7.
Shalom.
You know.
Yep.
You got it.
This is Sirach 4:17. It says, "For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways."
See, you got it.
Yep. It says, "And bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws."
You know, and so I had you pull that because how she's going to take you through crooked ways. You know, the fire on one side, the water on the other. Those are places of danger. All right, but wisdom is going to be with you as you're walking that path. All right, to get you to the other side. All right, and that's trust and that's having faith. All right, do you trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua to get you to the other side? Do you have faith in that? What kind of mindset do you have? All right.
If I may, it's like the Zaquan always says, relationship, like, because relationships are a two-way street. So it's like we're going into trust right now, and trusting in the Lord, but the Lord also wants to be able to trust us. All right. Wisdom also wants to be able to trust us, which is like the precept that you're going into. Why we're put in all these different various situations. It's not just because the Lord wants to put hell on us. Nope. It's because the Lord wants to see, can I trust this individual? Yeah. Does this individual have faith? You know?
And that's Elder Arianazi. The Elder Arianazi pushes that heavy in the gym at Dallas camp.
Yep. I got something real quick. Sirach 6:7 says, "If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him." So it's the same thing like brothers are speaking on, which I just walked in, but brothers are speaking on wisdom. Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that spirit of wisdom ultimately being there as as a means of for our longevity and success in the long run, ultimately, man. But that like what you read, can you read that part again, bro?
God, yep. It's Sirach 4:17. "For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways, and bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul and try him by her laws."
Right, and so she may trust his soul. So there's a proving grounds that ultimately has to be played out first before you get to that period of like, okay, and you're intimate to that level, that extent. Because even wisdom will just like reveal more and more and more and more unto you until we're perfected.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's all these layers of proving grounds, and what's the term? There's echelons, I believe is the term. Levels that we have to see through to get closer and closer to Yahweh Shem Yahushua and be given more wisdom, utilize.
There's a reason why in every game or everything that you have to do in this world, or even just like if you're playing a video game, it's a reason why they associate ability to do things and to be better with experience. Like it comes with the history, with the trial, with the weight that you had to carry. With you get the ass sword in the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
and then you able to stick, take 100 hits to kill it, to kill some level 1 ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then you get your XP up, and then now that same tool is it's been with you. It's seen you develop.
Now you got the Excalibur.
Yeah.
My strength.
You got something else.
Thor's hammer.
Yeah. Or you learn, or this the same way the Lord teaches us. We learn, we go through things so that the Lord can show us how to maneuver in certain situations, certain predicaments. Bring out certain characteristics of our spirit that we maybe didn't know that we have to grow and strengthen, and then to apply later so that we can be better or teach someone else.
I was holding You got it. No, you got it.
You want more?
No,
Come.
you good.
Okay. Sirach 4 and 18 now. It says, "For then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets."
So, because she has been found to trust you. You know, after you took the brunt of everything that came towards you. All right, now you're trusted, and you're pretty much a beloved, because it says also in that Sirach, but that's going back to Sirach 1 and 9, 1 and 28, going into how wisdom maketh you friends unto your house by Shemini Shadows, paraphrasing. All right, and how are you a friend? Because he trusts you, just like the brother brought out. You know, he's got to try a friend. We are trying to be at that initial table with Yahweh Shai. Okay, the 144,000 sitting there eating and drinking that wine that the Most High hasn't had since the beginning of the world. All right, and since we're wanting that, you know, and we're seeking after that, all right, that's a heavy burden to carry, you know, but Yahweh Shemini Shai is going to help you through it.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes trust and faith.
That reminds me of you know, the story of Moses, you know, because it said that the Lord, when he came unto him, you know, at Mount Sinai, you know, shortly before that, he was speaking to Moses as he speaketh to a friend.
Yep.
You know, and before that, he showed himself that he was to be, you know, the one to go raise up the people and, you know, take them out of Egypt and do the miracles before Pharaoh. He put him through, you know, where he lived a lavish life, right? He was, you know, Pharaoh's, you know, right hand man, and he gave it up to follow the Lord. He gave it up to you know, do the things with the Lord. He went, you know, on to was it Moriah?
Talking about
I forget the land, you know, he went into, but he
exiled out of
fled.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he fled out of Egypt, and you know, 40, Jethro.
It was the priest of Midian.
Mm-hmm. You know,
That's the spirit. We just went into this in camp last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the spirit.
You know, but he put him through trials. Like he lived a hard life there, 40 years, mind you. You know, of just you know, the Lord dealing with him before he really, you know, showed him that he was trustworthy to receive the go ahead to take his people out. You know?
Does a brother know where that scripture shall he find faith on the earth?
2 Ezra 6.
That's 2 Ezra 6. Gone. And I ain't gonna cut you off.
Well, no, that's gonna be what the house of David does in these last days. The house of David is gonna go through that entirely. You know, we know Moses was David.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. There's, I'm sorry.
No, you good. You found it.
2 Ezra 5 and 1 goes into the land being barren of faith, but the one is you're thinking of is Luke 18 and 8. It says, you know, this is ultimately going to that parable of that wicked judge, you know, that ultimately the woman was crying unto him, and because of how she was annoying him, he ended up having mercy on her, you know, and granting her request. I forget exactly what it was, but it says, I'll start at verse 6. It says, in the Lord, Luke 18 and 6, and the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith, and shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth.
Right. Shall the Most High find faith on the earth. All right, because it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad out here that really people are not going to believe that there's a God. It's going to be so much death, but then you're still going to have that remnant whose faith is at an all-time high, because we saw the buildup, we saw the script. All right, and we believed in it. You know, you got one?
Yeah, this is Sirach chapter 2, verse 10. It says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in Yahweh Shemini Shai and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
Yep.
You know, because Yahweh Shem Shai, that trust factor, in the generations of old, because I know we're talking about modern day, but we have to go into the past to acclimate ourselves, to get ready for the things to come. All right, because Yahweh Shem Shai is about to make major moves upon this earth, and it is going to be likened unto the times that we read about, because it's about to be distress everywhere. All right, and just like the brother's saying, we're going to need that trust factor. Everybody ain't gonna have it, bro.
Yep.
Everybody
don't have it, bro.
Can we finish the precepts that we had though? Held?
Oh.
We finished the 2 Ezra 7 and the
Salaki.
Yeah, let's finish those real quick.
Salaki, that's what
Want me to get that?
2 Ezra 7 and 8.
Yeah, I can read it for you. It's 2 Ezra 7 and 8. It says, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one man, so that there could be but one man go there at once.
Mm-hmm.
If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before him, how shall he receive this inheritance?
Right, he's got to go through the danger, because the danger, that's the trial of our faith.
Yeah,
that's how the Lord knows. It goes back to that precept he just read in Luke 18. Right, the Lord is looking for faith. The Lord is looking for those who stood stiffly for His name, even when it didn't look good.
Especially when it all looked good.
You know what I mean? Especially, right? Because everybody's chilling when everything, is hunky dory.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the thing about Jake that know that they're Israelites. That's just scratching the surface.
Right.
Knowing you're an Israelite doesn't mean that you give a damn about Yahweh Shem Shai.
Right. Because Scripture says what? Many shall say, Lord, Lord, in that day. And the Lord will say unto them, depart from me, you wicked, I have not known you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that's why the Lord also says too in Isaiah 30th chapter, woe to you that trust in Pharaoh. Like that time of testing is gonna come where we're gonna see what people really trust in. Where did you put your trust? Where did you have your heart? Like these like you brought up these pseudo Israelites, where they're only Israelite in
good time.
They claim they're Israelite in a good time, or like you just read. Is that Sirach 6?
Sirach 6.
Where it talks about the proven, the friend.
Yep.
Like they'll eat at you in the table and the servants to do all this, but then a hard time comes, it'll be like, damn, hey, who is this? What I gotta do?
I got one more quick one just to back you up. Sirach 12 and 8, it says, a friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that adversity, that's ultimately going to reveal who's the actual friend of Yahweh Shem Shai. Because the thing is, like, because I found out this information not too long ago, and I think I brought it out in one of the classes before, but when you go into the word friend in French, there's a few different ways that they'll say it. Kind of like how like looking at America, like how we speak.
Mm.
There's different dialects, different. When you go to Baltimore, they speak differently. They say different words and like verbiage and stuff. We have terms like friend, homie, bro, brother, like that's my real. Like you might go to Cali, they'll say some other shit like, or New York, they'll be like, that's my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like different shit. So the same thing any other country you go to, but in French, one of the ways you say friend is copain, which when you break that word down, co means with, and pain translates to bread. So with bread, so a true friend, right? Like in Revelation 3, the knocking on the door of our minds, the true friends of Yahweh Shem Shai are being given the mysteries, right? The breaking of the bread, the sharing of information, like in the movie. The Book of Eli, where he was kind of, she came and, she was supposed to be like a prostitute for him that night that he was staying in town. But, ultimately, you know, he kind of showed her some things. He showed her how to pray and stuff and everything like that. He was breaking bread with her. He was showing her things that she was never privy to. It's the same thing the Lord has did for us, but the triumph doesn't fully. The triumph is already here because, like Yahweh said, "Be of good cheer. I've already overcome the world." Right. So he who needed to get the victory, it's already gotten the victory. Everything else is just playing out. But as for us as individuals, I don't want to say the problem, but the opposition is the fact that we have to maintain the faith in the things that we've learned all the way into the very end.
Yeah.
In the midst of persecution, in the midst of the physical, spiritual opposition, everything that's ultimately being thrown against us, like the brother Bashar was speaking of. But you got to go too long.
And it's like you said, in order for mystery to be conveyed, right? That means that there's a trust that's underlying that transaction.
Yeah.
Like if I'm sitting down, if I invite you into my home, make you a meal, and start telling you personal things about my life, right, and plans that I have for the future, that means that there's an understanding, there's an agreement, there's a trust that's being made.
Right.
All right, which is also a fearful thing.
Yep.
Because breaching that trust, all right, is of the utmost disrespect.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, if I may, bro, I'm sorry. It's like in the movies where he said, "Well, if I tell you this, you gotta take it to the grave." You know, or if like what Bashar said, if I tell you this, I have to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the whole idea of like family. You know, like a family they'll reveal like, you know, the things that they're like the secrets that they found out about something, you know, and then pass that down, right, to give to you. But like if you were to go back and try to figure it out instead of trusting them, it would take you your whole life to figure out.
Yeah.
So it's better for you to just trust them and then build upon it, you know. Like you know, having that trust, like you said, like it's so important because we don't have the time to just, you know, look into everything that the Lord is saying. Okay, well, he said this and it was right. He said this and it was right. He said that and it was right. I think that all this man is saying is right. I'm gonna just follow this man. I don't have trust, you know, and that's where it ends. So that's the goal, you know, and to have it as be, you know, where we take it to the grave, like you said.
And just to say, are you reading something?
No.
Could you get that Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4, verse 13, where it talks about he has fulfilled long season in a
Yep, I got you.
short time.
Yep. This
We hold Psalms 22 as well.
Psalm 22?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Wisdom of Solomon 4:12. It says, verse 13. It says, "He being made perfect in a short time fulfilled a long time."
See that right there alone. You know, the reason why he was made perfect is because he trusted in Yahweh Shemel Shai. Because this is going into Enoch. Enoch trusted into Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, and so with this trust, he believed everything that Yahweh Shemel Shai was saying unto him. All right, so therefore there was no stops. He understood everything in a short season, and he fulfilled a long season in the hellish position that he was in.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what Yahushua did too. You know, Yahushua trusted that he was going to fulfill all the prophecies and that the Lord was going to raise him back up.
Yeah.
You know, he believed it. And, you know, it was, and it comes, and it keeps on coming down. You know, Yahushua believed that. So why wouldn't we? We know what Yahushua did, you know.
Yeah.
But like, think about him as like him just turning into a man and having to make that decision of like, yo, I gotta fully go through with it. And he's like, you know, praise the Lord, and I'm gonna do it.
God willing.
Even unto his death, you know. He said at his death, "Hey, Lord, why hast thou forsaken me?" You know, and it obviously shows that the Lord did not forsake him. His name is still being spoken in praise and remembrance to this day.
And if I can ask what you're saying real quick, because Yahushua was always speaking to the Heavenly Father, right? Praying to the Heavenly Father, even in his time of despair, right? He still trusted in the Lord. So as the priest is going into, man, Trust is you walking through this world, living by faith, not by sight. Like we said, we're going to see some things that's going to fucking want to break us down.
Yeah.
Want to sever that faith that we have and that trust that we have in Yahweh Shemel Shah. That's when it's going to be needed the most, right? We understand Ephesians 2:8 said faith is a gift. You have to manifest and hold on to that gift. You don't throw away a gift that someone gave you, right? Like, maybe someone gave you a bike or something like that, tip-top condition, right? You'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Longevity, you take care of it. You change the tires, your oil, change the chains, because that person gave it to you with good intentions.
The only reason you would throw it away is because you deem it as invaluable.
Yeah.
That's like the example of Judas. He pretty much threw away his calling of election for what does it add up to today? The amount of shekels that he sold out for, like $200 some, $300 some. Insignificant when you think about it.
Right.
Because you had the church to lean on, using him as an example. You had the church to lean back on if you needed some money. You know what I'm saying?
Romans 15:4.
So
Psalms 22.
you put a worldly possession over salvation ultimately. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately in that moment you wasn't moving in the spirit, you was moving in the flesh, and you deemed it as invaluable. That's the only reason a person would throw away a gift, especially a gift that's meaningful and as important as the one we receive, is if they deem it as invaluable. You know what I'm saying? That's that ultimately that, and it comes upon every man differently, but that's those tryings from the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shah, to see if you are actually a friend. You know what I'm saying? What you got?
No, you good. Can we read Romans 15:4 real quick, based off of that point that he made, all right, about basically Yahushua, right? Because when you read the scriptures, okay, why was Yahushua so committed? Why was Yahushua so driven, you know what I'm saying, to fulfilling his course, to completing the mission, right? We know it's because, obviously the Heavenly Father was dealing with him, but Yahushua was very well acquainted with the scriptures. All right, Yahushua was in the scriptures, man. All right, and Yahushua trusted in his lot, which was outlined in the scriptures, in the prophecies. You know what I'm saying? So brothers got to read. That's the point too. Like the scriptures say. Shalom, man. Yep, back there. You good? Could you read Romans 15:4?
Yep. It says Romans 15:4, for whatever things. I'm sorry, I'm gonna read it again. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Right. So that's the fuel source. All right. The fuel, the fuel, all right, putting the gas in the tank is reading. You gotta read. And you gotta have faith in what you're reading too. So what's the point of reading? What's the point of reading the story of Abraham? You know what I mean, or all these various accounts in the scriptures, but you don't actually believe those type of things can happen.
Yeah.
Right? You don't actually believe, okay, Abraham and Sarah, who was 90, they were 90 going on 100, had Isaac. Do you actually believe that took place? Do you actually believe that Moses, mother put him in water in a river and he was preserved? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So the trust that we're talking about in the lesson, where are you gonna get fuel for that fire? You're gonna get fuel for that fire by reading the scriptures, and then by going and experiencing things that align with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? You got.
Sorry, my bad. I just want to make a good point. I mean, you hear about that in 1 Samuel 17.
Mm-hmm.
That's what David did. Before David went against Goliath, right? When Goliath was sitting there defying the armies and Lord, what did David tell Saul? He recalled back to the times when the Lord had helped him.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the Lord helped him in a time when he had to fight the lion, when he had to fight the bear. The Lord doing the same thing for us, essentially.
Yep.
In every brother's walk, you can't sit here and tell me that the Lord ain't came through. Now, it's different aspect. You might have been late on rent, or you might have a flat tire, and some niggas pop up. I'll get you free new tire. Like, you never know. But those things the Lord put in our story. So when it comes time, don't forget that I've been with you.
Mhm.
You know, I've always been with you. Exactly. So don't think just because the test might seem bigger, you know what I'm saying, the obstacle bigger, you're going to get through that same obstacle, because Goliath is bigger than that fucking lion and them bear. You see? And Goliath was when you read it, Goliath was a man from war from youth.
Mhm.
So it wasn't just like, oh, this nigga was cut. He was with it. He been through it. But David was like, hey, Lord with me, so you ain't got, hey, like you said, Lord before us will be against us. So the Lord's been for us all this time. What makes you he's gonna switch up?
Yep.
Unless you switch up.
Yep.
If you switch up, then he gonna switch up. Oh, you don't believe him? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't get it.
That's the spirit, and we was, bro. That's heavy point. Because we were just talking about how it's a two-way street. Okay, we're trusting in the Lord, but the more we trust in the Lord, the more is going to be entrusted to us. Okay, so when we have these conversations about spiritual power, right? Jake's shooting, calling down, changing the weather, and who knows what brother's gonna be able to do? Brother's gonna be able, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we talk about these things, the Lord has to entrust you with that.
Yeah.
And how do we show the Lord that we can be trusted? We got to trust Him. It's a cycle. You know what I mean? Like when you look in all of creation, the water cycle, this cycle, that cycle, it's the same thing being recycled over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So when the Lord, it's like, you got it. When the Lord gave us faith, right? That faith is being regenerated. It's been, you know what I mean? It's being cycled, and it's getting stronger, and it's getting stronger, and it's getting stronger. What you got?
I don't know if y'all brought it down. That's Rock chapter 2 and verse 10.
Let's get it.
It says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise and call upon? Pretty much going into your point, we have all the accounts of our ancient forefathers put in dire situations that look like there was no way out. For example, the three holy men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were in that furnace that was heated up seven times more than usual. And yet they said, we're going to trust in Yahweh Bashem Shai, regardless if he delivers us or not. We're still going to serve our power regardless if we have to be put to death. But what did the Lord do? The Lord delivered them. And who was that? That fourth man in the fire, Yahweh Shai. That's who the Lord's going to send to deliver those who trust upon him. It's going to be Yahweh Shai.
Yep. And the title of the lesson was trust the Lord and watch what happens. And that makes me think about the point that Awarga made about David, because when you read that account, David was everybody was asleep on David. David was the underdog in his family. So David went from essentially the lowest ranking male of his family to the king of the nation of Israel, and the only king that had the united 12 tribes. Now Rehoboam, they had it for a moment, you know what I mean? Or Solomon, Solomon had it, you know what I mean, going into history. But Solomon was David's son. So really, that was David's kingdom passed on to Solomon, but we know Solomon the outside, obviously. But whatever brothers got.
If I can make
No, you gotta go. Go ahead.
We'll finish with that.
if I can make a quick point,
It's gotta be quick.
that's why it's so important. That's why
quick, brother.
I'm sorry. That's why it's so important for you to to be asking about, to be praying about faith, because we understand that Yahweh Hashem likes to show his power, and he likes to show his power with those that believe in him. So it's like, that's why when you increase more and more in your faith, you get put more and more difficult situations to where the Lord got a chance to show his power, because you believe in him, right? And it's really gonna be like that in Jacob's trouble. Well, when all hell breaks loose, at the all-time high, the Lord's only gonna perform a miracle for those that can believe in him, that believe that he can do it. So you have to have that faith that pretty much matches that ultimately.
Yep. He that believeth on the most high must believe that he is.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that he's a rewarder of them that does.
I was just like saying that.
Right here, bro. This is Hebrews 1:6. It says, but without faith,
11.
Just for the
sliding in
listeners.
my eyes.
Now you good. I'm
I'm
good.
my glasses on. Right.
Wait, you about to get verse 1?
No, he said 1 and 6.
Oh, okay.
So now you good.
I hope
We the
like that.
flesh.
Hebrews 11:6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. But he that cometh to Yahweh by Shem Shah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
So if without faith it's impossible to please him, well, even Yahweh Shai said, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, then you shall move mountains. So how about when your faith is on overdrive or you know, when you're on fleek, faith on fleek,
Fleeked up.
when you got maximum faith, what's the potential there? It's unlimited with Yahweh Shem Shah. There's no
Yeah.
limitations to the Lord.
Yeah.
So what the point that you brought out was heavy too, bro, going into how the reciprocation in relationships, you know, and how that even plays in our relationship with our power, Yahweh Shem Shah.
Mhm.
You know, because if you're not doing your part, then he's not gonna do his part. Because he did his. Because look, the thing is, the Lord did his part first by revealing, by opening up our minds, so to speak.
Yeah.
So now the ball's in our court. Now it's our turn to return, or our turn to do our part. But even then, the scripture says this. I'm gonna grab something real quick. Sirach 43 and 30. It says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, for even yet will he far exceed you. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough. I'm gonna read 2 more verses. It says, who has seen him that he might tell us? And who can magnify him as he is? There are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works. Right? So when you like it says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, because you can't even go far enough. And even when if you do 100%, 144% of what you can do, he gonna exceed that.
Yeah.
That's why the scripture says this. I reckon the sufferings of this present time are not to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us, because the Lord gonna far outdo anything our minds could even imagine and comprehend.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
Because even the few works, like at the end of that verse, it said like, can you read the last part of that verse again?
Sirach 43 and 32, it says, there are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works.
And even the few works that we do see are far out.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even-
The animals and shit.
Right, the animals, the plants, the stars, that the heavens. Even the few works that the Lord has even allowed us to kind of comprehend are far out.
It's far out. Like the fastest animal in the world, it's not literally when it's flying, but the attack that it does at the Peregrine Falcon or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
exactly. It's diving
200 some
Bro.
miles an hour, bro.
Diving speed, crazy.
It'll literally dive so fast and just come and just hit the prey, and the prey will just like fly, the feathers fly everywhere and shit. It just fucking just kills, like destroys their brain, like gives them brain damage off the rip, just off that hit. It soars up like a mile, 2 miles in the sky, and then it can see the fucking creature, the prey, and then it just starts fucking diving down and going like 200 some miles an hour, bro.
Even the highest
Just as an
flying
example,
bird,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it takes faith, man, to see these things and not take it for granted. The ornaments of heaven, right? The sun, the
Right.
moon. People don't question how do these things just stay
in order.
in order,
Right.
right?
The sun comes.
And that's part of the thing, man, because this world has so many distractions and that you can miss something like that. So you don't see the majesty, like the priest was going into, of Yahweh Shem Shah, you're in plain sight. But you have to be able to take the time and notice the little details of his work, and then you praise him.
Yeah.
The ant, the way it builds his mound, like you'll see a mound,
Mhm.
but you don't know how huge that thing is, because they did a little thing when they poured cement in it. And that thing was huge.
Bro,
It was
it's like
from there to all the way,
it's
but all you
deep,
see is a
bro.
little
It's
mound,
like dang.
and they construct their own air conditioning.
Yeah.
Now, if that's not Yahweh Shem Shah, then
No.
was it the Big Bang Theory?
Right. Accident.
And I just wanted to say through the Spirit before we, because we've been going about an hour, but there are things that we're capable of that we don't know that we're capable of right now. Like the miracles that Yahweh Shem Shah has promised, that brothers are going to do. Lord willing, we be that number, right? But even if you don't do a flashing miracle, there are things there. You know what I mean? And when I say that, you know what I mean? Like, they, beaming,
Right.
you know,
Lasers and
right.
shit.
Even if you don't get the lasers, man, like
Something out of that comment.
if you're of the elect, if you're of the remnant, the Lord is going to get you through a situation that you had never thought in a million years you'd be able to get through.
Right, bro.
You know what I mean? And he's already done it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
His presence being revealed is a mirror, it's a mere miracle itself. Just like it reminds me of that moment, David brought the Ark of the Covenant back, and he danced,
Mhm.
and then he had his wife, which couldn't bear children, Michal. She was looking at him like, what are you so happy for? What do you know what I'm saying? Why
happy?
you know what I'm saying? Why you know what I'm saying? It's because they didn't understand the trust. They didn't understand what that means for the nation. Like they seen the art, but they didn't realize the what it represented. They like you talked about that mound. You can see it. Oh, some ants over there, but they don't realize the significance and the weight behind you seeing that mound up in the earth. Is you seeing the root of the new, the major,
Yeah, that's
people that own it. You know what I'm saying? The people that are, how much is actually going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I'm not trying to milk going on the ant example,
Mhm.
but everything has a role and has a purpose. So ants are like bees. People always talk about bees.
Yeah.
Everything that bees do is critical to the functioning of the earth. Everything that ants do is key to the functioning of the earth. So even something like that is like it's a big deal. You take ants away and who knows what the hell happens. You know what I mean? But yeah, we can grab that Psalms 22 and close out.
This is Psalms 22 and verse 3.
And whatever brothers got.
It says, but thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praise of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee.
Yep.
They trusted, and thou didst deliver them.
Our fathers trusted in thee. All right, and that's another thing to remember too. This is an ancient, this faith, this truth that we have, this goes all the way back to Genesis. Like this is the oldest continuing, faith that there is on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And that's why we laugh at you fucking Christians. We laugh at all these niggas. You got niggas still walking around talking about they Islamic, talking about they part of the Nation of Islam. Right? You got niggas. These are all relatively new. These are new inventions. These are new creations. Y'all ain't even got no resumes like that.
Yeah.
All right, could you read that part again about our fathers?
It says, Psalms 22 and 4, it says, our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted.
This name that we're calling on, for example, the name of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh. That's the name that Noah had. That's the name that Enos had, Seth had. Right? You got it.
Yep. It says, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee and were delivered. They trusted in thee and were not confounded.
Boom. So there it is. Do the math in your head. You know what I'm saying? They be saying that. When you read the scriptures, the Lord is what? The Lord is undefeated.
Yeah.
Like niggas is into analytics now in sports. Niggas want to, this nigga shoots this percent from the field. And on third down, Tom Brady is whatever. Well, guess what? When you read the scriptures, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is undefeated, man. Right? So, brothers, whatever y'all got, that's all I had. You got it. I speak on it too.
It's Psalms 31 and 13. It says, for I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side.
Slander, man. We love it. Like we see niggas walk up and down past the camp, talking shit, right? Murmuring, scoffing, wagging their head. I love it. Me personally, I can, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That shit fires me up.
Yeah.
Because all I can think about is that Wisdom of Solomon 5.
Yeah.
Right? When you see brothers getting beamed up, all that shit y'all was talking, whew.
Yeah.
Greatest I told you so ever, man. What you got?
It was like when Moses stood at the sea, and this is after all the plagues happened on Egypt. Is after the Egyptians was through, they was cooked, the flies hit them, the darkness hit them. The Lord raised up the pillar, and then they had the Suez Canal, and then they looking at Moses like, man, you brought us here just to you see Pharaoh coming. You brought us, man, just to die.
Mhm.
And Moses said the hardest shit. He said, "Hey, just stand still and watch the Lord work."
Mm.
And then then the wind came and moved up the waters out the way. It's like, look, what I tell you, the Lord said, "Let my people go." You see how we leaving, right? And he held it open,
Yeah.
But them same niggas that was there is here, and they're not gonna go across this. They're not gonna go across the sea. They're not gonna make that full walk.
Mhm.
That's why the scripture said, like we brought up in Isaiah 30th chapter, they trusted in Pharaoh. Them niggas started to go back. It was like, nah, we finna ride with Pharaoh, man. It's looking like it's gonna be through for y'all, you know. So that's how the Lord is coming.
Yeah, the Lord gonna melt you niggas this time. He gonna let you take the chip.
Yeah.
Then he gonna melt your stupid ass. Or you got it. No, you got it.
Then hold you in that,
Mm-hmm.
so you can realize the folly of your bullshit.
They call that marinade.
Yeah.
Let a nigga cook.
Yeah,
Marinate a nigga in the ICBM. That's a new thing in the earth.
that's crazy.
Got the plagues before that. Lord gonna keep you niggas in the plagues.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Niggas gonna have sores on your bodies and shit.
See?
Then you gonna get melted. And then you heathen going into slavery.
Yep.
You got that.
Yeah, it's Psalms 31:13. It says, "For I heard the slander of many, fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life.
Mhm.
But I trusted in thee, O Lord, and said, Thou art my power.
Mhm.
My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me."
Boom. And we're on the cusp of that right now. We're on the cusp of being the most hated. We already are, but we haven't been persecuted like that yet, physically. All right. But that's coming. And like the brother brought out earlier, the Second Thessalonians 1:7, the Lord has not given us the spirit of fear.
Yeah.
We're not worried about that shit. Because you can't, if you could physically stop this, it had been happened already.
Yeah.
If it was of men, it would have went for nothing. But
Mhm.
since it's up to how about Shimmy outside, it's going to accomplish that
Mhm.
which what it came out to do.
Mhm.
Just like it says in that song, that Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11.
Mhm.
The words of his mouth does not go out void.
Yeah.
So,
No, spot on, bro.
yeah.
Is there more?
There's a little more. I'm gonna jump to verse 19. You got it though. It says, Psalms 31:19. "Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men." Like you said, like, oh, how great is thy goodness. Those that fear thee, those that trust in thee before the sons of men, because we are before the sons of men. We before the heathen.
Mhm.
Before the wicked of our nation. They're all looking at us, but the Lord has something laid up for those that believe. The last verse says, and this is what that is. Verse 20 says, "Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues." So, all the niggas talking about, how we, P Diddy's, all the niggas talking about how we ain't shit. We don't do this and that. We, talking about, moral character of us, where the Lord is going to actually show them who we are,
Open.
Yeah, openly, and reward, that ceremony in front of them, the non-believers, man.
That's when you set the back.
About to. Yeah, about to. You can speak on if you want to, bro.
Let's say 1 Corinthians 15, starting at 57. It says, "But thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord."
That's it. We got to stay the course. All right. We're about our Father's business, like the scriptures liken or talk about how Yahushua was. All right. And another thing that I was gonna get, because when you get that word trust, real quick, and we'll end it on this. Okay, brother, get the definition of the word trust.
Etymology.
You could type, if you go to the etymology, there's a paragraph at the bottom. You could read that.
As a noun or verb?
The business definition of a trust.
Oh, okay. I'm going.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. It says, I'll just read like the first sentence and then jump to that. Trust, reliance on a veracity, integrity of other virtues, or sound principle of someone or something.
Mm-hmm.
It says religious faith as well. But then it goes, says in record and recorded from the early 15th century, and the legal sense of confidence placed in a person who holds or enjoys the use of property entrusted to him by its legal owner.
Right, like we talked about earlier, this truth has been entrusted unto us. This faith, these mysteries, you got it.
It says condition of being legally entrusted, hence that which is committed to one for safekeeping or use.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, could you read the part where it goes into the meaning?
Yep. It says the meaning business originated to reduce competition and organization of the control of several corporations under one direction
Mm-hmm.
by a set of majority shareholders in all of them is a legal sense attested by 1877, which exploded the U.S. political issue, hence trust buster recorded by 1903.
Yep. So a trust, one of the definitions of trust, this is a sidebar. One of the definitions of a trust basically is it's a business.
Yeah,
It's a business. It's almost like a monopoly. It's a business that has control over lesser organizations, which in this case, the House of David, which is just technically it's a trust. It's a business. The Kingdom of Heaven is a trust. It's a business, and this is the organization that's going to control the entire planet Earth.
That's why they say like, oh, this nigga rich, he didn't really get it out the mud. He's a trust fund,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Trust fund. What is that? Trust is inherited business rights. It's inherited power, pretty much. Which
That's us.
we didn't get it out the mud, but Lord willing, Lord willing, we finish and we will. Through your house,
Bring it out.
All right. This is Sirach chapter 17, verse 10. It says, "And the elect shall praise His holy name." Just to be a part of it. Just to be a part of that trust. But also that we stand stiffly in the things that we know is trusted unto us. So it can work hand in hand both ways.
Yep.
But that's all I got.
Hey, we'll end it on this.
This Revelation 19:10, it says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy." When you go into that word testimony, it says testifying, which is the office committed to the prophets of testifying concerning future events. Like the priest was going into, this whole thing is a trust fund. We are essentially Nepo babies. We're products of nepotism. We didn't deserve none of this shit. We didn't work for none of this shit. Romans, the 9th chapter and 11th verse tell you that concerning Esau and Jacob. We didn't work for none of this. The Lord just gave it to us. And even if somebody was in the truth, at one point they didn't get saved, it was still an honor to even be in the truth. The Lord gave you a chance at salvation, regardless. So all of this is an honor that we did not deserve.
Yeah.
Right. And this is you had a precept that goes into when the Lord gives somebody little to have trust over it, and then that's when He's going to give you a lot. Right now, going into these prophecies, the Lord has given us trust over little. Prophecy is essentially, in the grand scheme of eternity, this is little. This is really little, because we're not even a half a month into creation. when you think about it. We're like almost 2 weeks in. We're not even a full 2 weeks into creation. So this is little in accordance to eternity.
Just the
So
beginning.
this lot that the Lord has given the prophets to have to entrust us to go into these prophecies, break it down, and essentially manifest the end of this kingdom, which it goes into in 2nd Ezra 9. That's little. And then if we do well in our lot here, the Lord is going to increase us, which is giving us the kingdom.
Yep. And Isaiah 9 talks about how the end of the increase of his government, there shall be no end. So like you're saying, this is just the beginning, really. Which is heavy in itself, you know. But that's all I had. I believe that the point was made. I pray that it was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua Ba'Shem HaKakodash. Double honors again to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well. And shalom to the next lesson.
Shalom.